Rob, we're going to go to Rob. Former MLB player Trevor Bauer, who's ridiculously good. A former LA Dodger pitcher who won the Cy Young in 2020. Is he playing in Japan right now? He's playing in Japan. He just settled a legal dispute with his accuser, and he revealed some damaging messages. Rob, what do you got to tell us about the story?
In the post-Me Too era that we find ourselves in, I started thinking about this case and wondering if social justice now supersedes criminal justice. You look at the story of Trevor Bauer, and we're going to go through the timeline quickly. There's a lot to this timeline.
That's fine.
It's a timeline that goes back April 21st of 2021, when a woman, we now know her name, Lindsay Hill, met Trevor Bauer, who is, by the way, an all-star MLB first-teamer.
Sick.
An NL Cy Young Award winner. He's an NL ERA leader. He's the winner of the Golden Spikes Award and the 2011 National Pitcher of the Year. So this guy's an accomplished dude.
He was a stud.
Recently signed, by the way, February 5th of 2021, a 3-year, $102 million contract. $102 million. Did you hear that, Brady?
I did. That's pretty sweet.
Los Angeles.
LA,
that's when he got signed.
Okay. 3 years, $102 million.
I remember when he came out, because he played for, I think, Arizona, then he was with Cleveland for a while.
Yeah, nasty.
And that's where he blew up in Cleveland. I'm a baseball guy. That's where my history's from. And he came out, Bauer outage, he was everywhere. And just to study, he was the long toss guy. His warm-ups, he's throwing a ball from a foul pole to a foul pole.
He's sick.
I mean, just incredible.
Star athlete.
Yeah.
Yes.
Top of the game.
So he meets this woman April 21st, Lindsay Hill. They have consensual intercourse. Brandon, I'm sure, with your suit,
you know what's up.
You probably have an NDA that you make people sign before you guys make a coitus. May 16th. 25 days after they have sex, Lindsay Hill goes to the emergency room at Alvarado Hospital where her injuries are examined and she's interviewed by police. On June 28th, Hill is granted a temporary violence restraining order alleging that when she met Trevor Bauer on the 21st of April, that she had been physically and sexually assaulted by him on not one, but 2 occasions.
Whoa.
The woman went on to claim that Bauer had sodomized her without her consent.
I hate that.
Punched her in the face and choked her to the point of unconsciousness with her own hair. I don't understand. And that's a whole separate weird thing.
They're having fun.
That's a different show.
That's a different show.
That's a different show.
This is for Sauce Scouts.
I'm married. If I touch my wife's hair, I get yelled at. I can't imagine putting it around her neck. It's like, no.
She'd stab you.
We have to go to war. No. We have to go to war. Bauer, on his part, he acknowledged having sexual contact with the woman, but stated the encounters were wholly consensual and that his accuser sent him text messages requesting that he inflict pain upon her. July 2nd of 2021, Bauer is placed on administrative leave by Major League Baseball. Let's fast forward to August of 2021. It's the 20th of August. The restraining order is lifted. The judge rules that Bauer is not a threat to the woman who's accusing him of sexual assault on 2 occasions. In fact, the judge found that the woman was not ambiguous about wanting rough sex in the party's first encounter and wanting rough sex in the second encounter, stating that she clearly made clear to him that she wanted to have sex. In fact, Trevor Bauer releases text messages that show that
was
where
incredible.
The woman says, I want all the pain. All of it, guys. It's a lot. I want you to dominate me. I want you to be rough with me. Are you sure this is what you want? To which the Bauer actually asked the woman that. Are you sure you want me to be this rough? And the woman texts back, yes, I'm sure.
Holy shit.
It looks really bad, the photos that come out for Trevor Bauer of the woman. That happened. Again, the photos were taken 25 days. I mean, she goes to the hospital 25 days later. I would assume those photos were taken 25 days after their sexual encounter. So let's fast forward a little bit quicker. The timeline, the restraining order gets lifted. That is on August 20th. So the restraining order is lifted. 20 days later, on September 10th, Major League Baseball and the Players Union extends Bauer's leave through the remainder of the 2021 season. So criminally, they're looking at this guy and going, you're not a threat. But yet Major League Baseball is still taking the stance that they have to suspend him.
Yeah, it's their optics, obviously.
September 13th, 3 days later, the San Diego District Attorney's Office announces it's not going to file criminal charges against Trevor Bauer. In February of 2022, almost a year after the alleged encounter, the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office follows suit and says they will not be filing any criminal charges against Trevor Bauer.
And did they say why, Rob? Did they say because of lack of evidence?
Oh, citing a lack of evidence. Oh, so they don't have enough evidence. And these text messages seem pretty damning on the woman's behalf as far as the sex being consensual and rough and consensual. I want all the pain, as we read earlier. So that happens February 8th. Almost 3 months later, 2 months later, April 29th, Major League Baseball, 2 separate police investigations. The county and locally both declined to press charges. The restraining orders lifted. Major League Baseball makes a decision to suspend Trevor Bauer for 324 games. They cite that he violated the league's joint domestic violence, sexual assault, and child abuse policy.
Where does the child abuse come from?
It becomes he's the first player ever to appeal the suspension, which eventually got cut in half to 194 games. However, it was the longest non-lifetime suspension that has ever been issued in Major League Baseball history.
That's freaking nuts.
Insane.
For something that it turns out he didn't do. Trevor Bauer potentially loses $37.5 million as a result of missing those 194 games, to the point where a Cy Young award-winning pitcher is now pitching in Japan.
Dude.
Have you ever seen how tiny the Japanese are? It's a weird sport to watch. They're so tiny, they're like little leaguers. He's pitching against little leaguers, and the guy made $103 million in his contract.
How much did they give him, Rob, money-wise?
Well, I mean, if he lost, what was it?
He's going to make a lot of money.
He'll make a lot of,
I mean, he'll go through a lot of crap, but there's going to be a lot more.
Because this guy could clearly have a lawsuit, in my opinion, against Major League Baseball. He did nothing wrong. They knew that he did nothing wrong, and yet social justice trumped criminal justice, and this guy now loses. Like he's lost important years in his career, his mid-20s or late 20s, early 30s.
Major League Baseball's going to pay. ESPN's going to pay. The Washington Post, the Atlantic. That's who the other one that went after him right away.
And this is the most interesting story. We're going to play this clip real quick. This is a video Trevor Bauer released yesterday. He has settled his lawsuit with his accuser.
He settled with the female.
With no money.
No money exchanged.
Except the woman's insurance company is paying her $300,000. So either way, the woman who may or may not have made these claims up, I don't know, I wasn't there that night, for all the pain, she still gets a $300,000 payout. Now, a third of that goes to the lawyers, a third goes to the government. You're still getting $100,000 for this. It's very odd when you watch this video to look at this situation and go, this guy did anything wrong. And it just adds to the list of people, which I'll read you, in the post-Me Too era, who have been convicted socially. Criminally, they have been not held liable for any of the accusations. Most of the charges cleared against them, and yet their lives and careers have been ruined. Can we cue the tape, Kelly?
Yes.
Next victim, star pitcher for the Dodgers. A text Lindsey Hill sent to a friend before she ever even met me. What should I steal? She asked another, in reference to visiting my house for the first time. The answer? Take his money. So how might that work? I'm going to his house Wednesday, she said. I already have my hooks in. You know how I roll. Then, after the first time we met, net worth is $51 million, she said. Bitch, you better secure the bag, was the response.
Wait till the next one comes.
But how is she going to do that? Need daddy to choke me out, she said. Being an absolute whore to try to get in on his $51 million, read another text. Then, after the second time we met, former Padres pitcher Jacob Nix told her, you got to get this bag. I'll give you $50,000, Lindsey replied. Her AA sponsor asked her at one point, do you feel a tiny bit guilty? Not really, she replied. Since then, the legal team has approached me multiple times about coming to a financial settlement. But as I have done since day one, I refuse to pay her even a single cent. In August of 2021, Lindsey Hill's claims were heard in court. And during those legal proceedings, critical information was deliberately and unlawfully concealed from me and my legal team. Information like this video, which was taken by Lindsey Hill herself the morning after she claimed she was brutally attacked, emotionally traumatized, and desperate to get away from me. And now we have the metadata, so there can be no dispute. It was taken mere minutes before she left my house on the morning of May 16th, 2021, without my knowledge or consent, of course. In it, you can see her lying in bed next to me while I'm sleeping, smirking at the camera without a care in the world, or any marks on her face. I think it paints a pretty clear picture of what actually happened the evening of May 15th and why the video was originally concealed from us.
What?
Yeah.
So,
What?
just one quick thing. Again,
scary.
they met on April 21st. She accuses him of being sexually abusive in 2 separate occasions. So April 21st, then again on May 15th, the day before that video comes out of her laying in bed. Clearly no marks on the woman. And that's the day where she goes to the hospital and gets photographs taken and claims she was sexually assaulted. The guy lost $37 million the best years of his career, and this woman gets $300,000. I feel like we're at a point where the tides have turned and it's no longer you're innocent until proven guilty. If you're a man in this country, you are guilty until proven innocent.
I agree.
Good fucking luck.
Yeah, I agree. And think about how scary as shit. I mean, dude, like that's the worst thing too. Imagine being a good person, going through your life, focusing just on your craft.
Yeah.
He's probably had girlfriends. Obviously, he's obviously kind of freaky, but that is what it is. But once you're at that level and that stature, how the hell can you trust any girl that you're ever gonna meet? Like how?
And it worries me as a father of 2 young boys. It goes, now, like, it's a different age. It's a different time. My dad told me, like, hey, you got to be careful, you know, like dating chicks. But clearly not an issue. Right? It wasn't like I was beating him away with a fucking stick. So, like, when I had sex, I was lucky it was happening. I was grateful. It wasn't something that was against anybody.
I was like, I can touch your hair.
That ended years ago. But yeah, as a father of children, and what really concerns me is some of the guys that have gotten caught up in the Me Too movement. Aziz Ansari, comedian, was accused of sexual misconduct by a woman who wrote a blog post about the experience. In 2019, a joint investigation found that the woman's account was not credible. Nick Carter, the Backstreet Boys singer, I didn't know any of them were into chicks. He was accused of sexual assault by multiple women. However, in 2020, a Los Angeles judge dismissed the charges against him. They even got Sylvester Stallone. The actor was accused of sexual assault by a woman who said that it happened in 1986 but didn't report it until 2018. The Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department did an investigation and closed the case. I could go on. Gerard Depardieu, Luc Besson, a French filmmaker, Tyler Gresham.
Julian Assange, everybody.
Patrick King.
The amount of people that have been, because it became, hey, we have to believe all women. We have to believe. And listen, there's a large amount of women out there who are sexually assaulted and don't report it because they fear the repercussion. But there are instances of women making up these allegations and the men being found guilty before they were allowed to prove their innocence.
That's kind of, I wanted to go there for a second because I think like there's got to be some type of charges brought against women like this. Like they need to create some type of like false accusation registry or something like that because the thing that upsets me is that this discredits the women that actually go through that. Right? So now the women that are actually abused are going to be second guessed, like, oh, did it really happen to you? When it really did, right? She's taking this and it's just manipulating and it's hurting women who are actual victims.
I agree.
And that upsets me.
And what it also does is these same women are the ones that influence the culture to be like, oh, men are so evil, men are so bad, and it's like they're the ones that. And I actually am curious on your guys' opinion because when I think about, he's like, oh, I want him to choke me, all these things that are influenced from like Instagram, pop culture, that women like this aggressive sex and all that, and I would say the majority of women do not. And so, I think it's like a facade. Like, oh, they want to do all these things because that's what culture is saying. But I think most of women actually don't want that. And then the ones that portray themselves to do, look what happens. And then you think of like Cardi B. She would say the same things. Then there's allegations. Then they're actually going after the men, but they promote themselves like, oh, I want this rough sex. This is what I like. And then it happens. Oh, now the guy's bad.
Yeah, it comes down to one saying though, just. Crazy in the bed means crazy in the head. Like, that's it.
If he's a freak in the sheets, something in the streets.
And she's like she meets. But it's great. But he does make a good point here. Like I think like dude, one night stands and meeting an athlete like dude, I've had, trust me, crazy wild nights. But I think I think that's sorry. Bro, trust me, I was with we're gonna get into that later. But wait, I was with a girl that almost choked me out. I was like, I can't. She was leaning on me. That's neither here nor there. But anyway, my point is like I think like once you're with somebody and you're comfortable with them and you have a relationship, then you're thinking this 100% different. I don't know how long were they dating, Rob, before all this?
I think they only met a handful of times.
But for her to set him up like that, I agree with Joel. You got some criminal something has to be done because not only the life is ruined, by the way, his name, because you know how people are right now. Now, if you just see Trevor Bauer, the majority of people, Rob, they didn't do this research. They didn't see that clip. They're going to see him and be like, you rapist, piece of trash.
Yep.
And now his kids, when he has kids and everything, for the rest of his life, his name is going to be tarnished. He can't have that Men in Black thing that goes, bing, forget all this. You're screwed for the rest of your life.
ESPN, The Atlantic, they both came out with articles shortly after it happened just bashing him.
So quick question, Joe, before we wrap up. How much money, if you had to guess collectively, you think he's going to get from everybody collectively for defamation?
I think it's going to be more than his contract for the Dodgers.
Yeah,
it's going to be over
prove,
103.
like, losses and then future losses.
Yep.
Just in losses alone at $37 million, and you're taking
He's
away.
going to make more than his contract was. He's going to have to go through a lot of crap, but you know.
He already has.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you're used to it. Now you get to monetize from it. Good for him.
Rob, next story, but I just want one question. Then don't BS us because I think everybody wants to know. Tonight, are you going to try to choke your wife with like your beard?
No, I'm going to kiss her on the cheek and say goodnight, Dorian. And then I go sleep on the couch like normal.
Like a real man.
Yeah.